ready to go. You all set? No, you take your time. Great. Hey, also, I just want to say thank you for coming out this afternoon. Again, just wanted to congratulate Chris Hipkins on being selected leader of the Labour Party and therefore being anointed as Prime Minister of New Zealand. It's also an opportunity to congratulate Carmel Sepuloni on being appointed Deputy Prime Minister. It is a tremendous privilege to be able to lead a party, but also to lead this great country of ours, and so I wish them well. I think the real takeaway for me, however, is that there is no change, it's just more of the same. And that's because it is essentially the same team. Chris Hipkins has been part of this government for the last almost 6 years that has failed spectacularly to get anything done. And so the New Zealand people need much more than just a Labour Party leadership change. What they need is a national government that will actually get things done. And a government that's actually going to be focused on them. And what New Zealanders care most about, an election of a Labour Party leader aside, is actually really about how we deal with the cost of living crisis, how we raise incomes for all, how we actually restore law and order in this country, and how we improve our education and healthcare. That's what they need. They need a new national government, and a national government that will get things done for the New Zealand people so that they can get ahead. That's what it's all about. With that, happy to take any questions that you may have.
How are you feeling? Still confident?
Look, as I said, nothing changes for us. We have been really focused. We talked about it in our Napier offsite, about making sure that we are really fixated on what New Zealanders need most at the moment. Frankly, New Zealanders are facing rapidly rising levels of interest rates, stubbornly high inflation, record high food prices you would have seen, the risk of rising unemployment, a recession coming our way, and they're about to hit a huge amount of economic pain in the coming year. That's where my head's at, and that's where my focus is. I won't be meeting up with him. I've got other plans tomorrow. But from my point of view, what's really important is actually listening to the New Zealand people and understanding what their concerns are. And I'm feeling, as I go up and down the country, yesterday I was in Hamilton, I was in different groups over the course of the last week, the messages are consistent and are the same. How do you help us reduce this level of cost of living crisis that we're all facing? How are you actually going to help raise our incomes? How do we restore law and order so that I can feel safe in my home, in my business, in my community? And ultimately, how do I get ahead? Now, that's what New Zealanders are focused on.
Have you had a chance to talk to Mr. Hipkins personally?
Look, I dropped Chris Hipkins a text yesterday congratulating him and just saying what a great privilege it is to lead a party and also to lead our great country. And he acknowledged that last night. Yeah.
What did you make of his first?
To me, it's just more of the same. It actually just felt like a government that's just carrying on, more of the same. A new leader, but the same story. And again, a government that's just not focused on where New Zealanders need to be, where New Zealanders are, and that's about the economy. And it's actually strengthening the economy in really unstable times so that New Zealanders can actually survive and get ahead really well into the future.
Are you afraid of going up against him?
Look, no, nothing changes for me. Frankly, it could have been any leader of the Labour Party. It's the same team that's delivered the same poor performance and results over the last 5.5 years. This is a government where our economy's gone backwards, our housing crisis is not solved, our health system's falling apart, our education system standards are falling, and we've got rapidly rising levels of crime. And so, it's a government that has not been able to deliver outcomes. And I just came to politics because I believe improving outcomes is actually how we help New Zealanders be able to get ahead, so that their lives are a little less expensive, a lot more convenient, and that's actually how they can get ahead in their lives as well.
Does Hipkins ask people to refrain from talking about his personal life? Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, look, I really support Chris Hipkins' remarks about his family. It's up for each member of Parliament to determine how they will navigate being in the public eye, and I have huge respect for his statement, and I think we should all respect that as well.
And there's been a lot of talk about the abuse that was directed at Prime Minister nzherald. What's your response to that?
Yeah, look, I mean, it is a reality of political life. It's pretty robust. My hitch to the New Zealand people and to all of us in this country is that we're all in this together. And so we actually want to be very conscious and intentional about, and we get to choose about how we want it to be going forward. I've seen lots of other countries around the world where politics has become so polarised that we actually can't walk across the room and have a decent conversation about the issue without it becoming about attacking an individual. And what I've been calling for, and the way I've tried to model it out since coming to politics 2 years ago, is to actually have the disagreement, but without being disagreeable and personal. And I think that civility in our politics in New Zealand over our history has actually served us well and been a unique marker of our democracy. And so for me, I want to make sure that we continue to model that out, because we do get to choose, do we want to become so polarised that as New Zealanders we become so divided that we can't actually come together and agree on the things that we can agree on. And so I think that's really important for all of us to take a step back, take stock, and actually think about the kind of environment we want to have together. Look, I think all of us identify as New Zealanders. It's an incredible country with massive amounts of diversity, with us all coming from different experiences, different backgrounds, and that's what makes this place a much richer and a better place economically, socially and culturally. And so, for all of us as New Zealanders, we're going to get the country we deserve, and we deserve the very, very best. And we have huge potential. We have amazing people, incredible talent, great creativity. We have world-class people in New Zealand, and we can do really well as a country. But at the moment, we are so utterly, totally going in the wrong direction, and we need a turnaround, and we need a government that will actually get things done for the New Zealand people.
What did you make of them failing to name the inflation rate?
Look, the economy is really important. It's what New Zealanders need to understand. We've got 7.2% inflation. We've got 3.3% unemployment. We have a 4.25% OCR rate. Those are important metrics to understand. Inflation is driving higher interest rates, which is making it tougher for New Zealanders to afford their mortgages. It's leading to higher levels of rents. It's leading to massive inflation in food prices, so that New Zealanders can't afford the basic foods that they want to be able to buy. And it's having major challenges in our economy. That's what this government needs to do. Reduce the cost of living, raise incomes for all, restore law and order, and actually improve health and education. That's what a national government's going to do. Well, look, this is a government that's been in power with the biggest mandate that's been in modern political history, and it's actually failed to achieve improved outcomes for New Zealanders. Our economy is going backwards, as I said. Look, crime's going up, our healthcare system's falling apart, our education standards have been slipping dramatically, and our housing crisis is not solved. And so, the government, with half a year to go before an election, decides it's going to get action focused. Well, what has it actually been doing over the last almost 6 years? So, from my point of view, I'm focused on what the National Party is wanting to do, which is to make sure we are delivering for the New Zealand people, so that when we get to government, we're not forming endless working groups and lots of talk sessions. We're actually getting going with the things and delivering the things that New Zealanders need.
You talked about men standing up to misogynistic abuse against female politicians, that they should take a greater stand on it. What do you think about that?
I think that's really important. I mean, in my past life in a corporate world, I was involved in something called Leaders for Change. And it was about how do we actually drive greater gender and diversity into our corporate boardrooms and into our senior management teams up and down the country and in our sectors. And for me, I think it's important that men stand beside women. They don't have to do it for women, but they have to stand beside them. And you need good men to stand up to do just that. And so I think that is important.
What are the three treaty principles?
We've got the first treaty principle is sovereignty, the second one is rangatiratanga, and the third one is around equality. And the treaty is really designed to bring us all together as New Zealanders. That's what it's about.
What do you think about his plans to get us some big projects, which he hasn't specified yet, but it says they're going to be a different focus?
It's all too little too late, isn't it? I mean, it's now, look, as a government that has actually, by its own admission, now admitting that it has failed to get things done for the New Zealand people. And to come out now, in an election year to say, this year we're going to take it really seriously, we're really going to get things done, it's just not credible, it's just not believable, is my view. And so, again, Chris Hipkins has been one of the most senior, one of the three most senior people in the Labour Party, alongside Jacinda Ardern, Grant Robertson and himself. They have been the three senior leaders of that party. And at the end of the day, they have not been able to achieve anything over that last 5.5 years. Look, I think, really, he should be getting rid of Three Waters, totally repealing the Three Waters reforms that have been proposed. That would be absolutely critical to be able to do. And that is a single thing that New Zealanders are saying, we do not want it. We do not want you to take an asset that's in local ownership and move it into these big bureaucratic mega entities. But again, I just say, you know, when you look at the performance on education and in crime and in housing and in health and on the economy, the country's going backwards, you know, and it's because of this government. It's had 5.5 years and it has failed to deliver outcomes for the New Zealand people. We need to get things done in this country. Good? Anything else? All good? Hey guys, thanks so much for coming out. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Take care.